Laura, what's important to you?
My husband, doing a good job with your kids, creating safe homes, safe, sane, stable homes for children so that they can develop as fully and beautifully as they can. That's the most important thing to me, Jesse.
That seems not to be working around the world anymore.
Yeah, I got that.
And
I see
why
that
is that?
myself.
Why is that?
I think it's lots of reasons. I think people have lost their way. I don't know if we've got lost or if we've been led somewhere. You know, I think that people are focusing on the wrong things. We're too busy. Women aren't at home anymore.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's working. Everybody's tired. Everybody's distracted, and it takes quite a lot of time and care and effort to get your marriage in and keep your marriage in a good place. And I think people don't have the time. And I do think the messaging, there's quite a lot of negative, misleading information about what constitutes health, relationally speaking.
Yeah.
So I think people just don't have the wherewithal.
What a shame, huh?
It's a tragedy.
What's the purpose of sex?
The purpose of sex, well, obviously children, that's the species, don't continue without it.
Right.
Right. But I would say bonding. I think it's incredibly bonding. We know because of the physiological, the things that happen to us physiologically, people who have more sex live longer, they live healthier lives, they've got regulated nervous systems, they experience less stress. Yes, so there's markers, there's physiological markers that, you know, that show us that it's good for us, but the purpose is that it's bonding. And what I would say is that it's good for children. And now, I know that sounded bad. Let me just rephrase that. So parents who are lovers, generally, they're warmer. The house is warmer. Dad's happier. A healthy, mutually pleasurable sex life is good for women too. So parents who are lovers they create warmer environments for children. They get on better. The atmosphere is more harmonious. So ultimately, it's good for children. And what we do know, Jesse, and I'm sure you would agree, that the best thing for children is safe, sane, stable, warm environments.
Yeah.
And obviously that changes society. So if the more children there are being raised in predominantly warm, safe and sane and stable homes, the stronger our societies are.
Yeah. Is it true that women are not as into sex as men are?
I think it's more complex for women. I think it's more difficult for women, generally speaking. Women are more affected by lifestyle, by life circumstances. If her children aren't okay, she'll be perhaps more distracted. She's more susceptible to stress. Perhaps women's libido and sexuality is more tied towards how she feels about life and about herself generally. And what I will say is that this is across the board. People don't seem to like themselves very much. And I don't know if that's always been the case for humans, but my experience, I've worked with people for 30 years, Jesse, so I can say with some authority that people really don't have good relationships with themselves. And if you don't like yourself, you bring that to the sexual, that comes with you sexually. So there's a lot going on there. But yes, generally speaking, I'd say that women's sexuality, their libido, their desire, their hunger for that is more easily interrupted than men, and partly that is to do with testosterone, because men, generally speaking, their testosterone level is much higher than women's. So that is a factor as well.
You mentioned orgasm. For women who try to do that, they are becoming like a man. They have to force that to happen because it's not natural for a woman to do that, but it's natural for men to just not to do it. For the orgasm.
Yeah.
But women have to work at it, they gotta force it to happen, they gotta go out of their way to make it happen. So it's not happening naturally.
I don't know. Actually, the truth might be that for women to orgasm, the truth is perhaps that we have to do the opposite to force it.
Yeah.
We have to surrender. I think that's more true, that for women to get to that place, they need to be as in a surrendered state. So she needs to feel totally safe, and I don't mean that safety necessarily entirely comes from her man either. That safety, that place of surrender, is spiritual. That she's spiritually in line and in love with life.
Yeah.
And that extends to her husband, and it spreads out that way. So I don't know, again, if you might be slightly wrong there.
So when men come to you, they say, Lord, help me. I'm married and my marriage is sexless.
Yeah.
What should I
that's
do? What should I do?
Yeah.
And you tell them what?
I ask them to tell me their story. So it's like arriving at a crime scene, Jesse. I need details. I want to see what's on the walls and what's in the cupboard. You know, it takes me a while to piece stories together. I need to ask questions, you know, about the marriage, about how they feel about one another, how they treat each other, you know, how stressed they are. But the really important conversation, if it is that the wife isn't interested in that part of the relationship, I obviously need to talk to her. I never ever think about this as a sort of. I always deal with it on a case-by-case basis. I need to hear the woman's story. Right. What was her relationship with her father like? What was her parents' relationship like? What was the culture telling her about her sexuality? Has she had any dreadful experiences sexually? Does she like her body? Does she go outside? Is she on antidepressant medications because that can trash your libido? Is she on a whole host of psychotropic meds, because lots of people are now, and that's obviously going to interfere with how you feel about yourself, how you feel about life. It's like a health questionnaire. How is your wife generally? So it's not straightforward. I can fix it quickly. It's like being invited in to the marriage, and it takes a while to work out what might be going on.
Amazing.
But I take that very seriously.